It's no mystery why Italy is pushing hard for the Eurozone ministers to include these so-called corona bonds in any deal that they want. The government has already pledged nearly half of the country's GDP in support for the economy. As our correspondent Giorgio Landi explains, people are pleading for help.
Hi, Oliver. Well, the economic impact of the outbreak is very significant, especially in the south of Italy. New level of poverty is emerging there. Hundreds of families are struggling to survive. That's the case of Salvatore Chini. He's a father of a family of five, a family that only survives on just 500 euros a month. They're now left with just over 260 euros of Salvatore's retirement benefit. His wife is a nanny. She has not worked since the beginning of the outbreak, as well as two of his three children. They now live all together. So he's been forced to ask for help in order to feed his family. That's what he told me, speaking from the food store, the charity food store, where he went to collect groceries. And this month has been particularly challenging for him and his family, but also what this new level of poverty is like. Take a listen.
In
order to ration our daily food stock, we only eat twice a day. Usually it's pasta at lunchtime, and in the evening we bake things ourselves using flour. So we either eat pasta or piadina. But we usually use cheap ingredients like onions, peppers, tomatoes, without using things like ham, salami, or other cold cuts that we can't afford.
They don't look you in the eye, they just come to get their food and then they leave. They're ashamed. They're not used to asking for things. They've always been used to living off their own earnings. They now find themselves in a completely different situation. Their life has been completely turned upside down. It's like a tsunami for them. This is what has made the biggest impression on us.
It looks like, Oliver, the main issue there is that there are so many people who do undeclared work, and that means that the actual number of people who are struggling is much higher than what authorities say.
Georgia, Italy has felt abandoned by the EU before and were locked in budget disagreements with Brussels before all of this began. So how are people reacting to Conte's comments on Europe? And is there a widespread feeling in Italy that the EU needs to step up here and show them some solidarity?
Well, Oliver, the lack of European solidarity as it is perceived here is posing a great challenge and could have not just financial consequences, but also political ones, not just among those people who are traditionally against the Union. And we've seen people taking to social media, burning EU flags, and we've seen right-wing parties doing the same here in Rome. And actually, they're using that debate to strengthen that idea that Italy should leave the EU. But now we're seeing actually pro-European activists and pro-European political leaders thinking in the same way. Italians are losing faith in the EU. That's also according to a recent survey that says that around 67% of the respondents